In this exploration of the grim and harrowing punishments humanity has inflicted upon its own, we turn our attention to one of the most infamous and widely recognized forms of execution in history, crucifixion. This brutal method is most famously associated with the Christian belief that Jesus Christ, their revered Messiah, met his end through this torturous practice. In modern times, the cross, once a symbol of unimaginable suffering, has transformed into a ubiquitous emblem of faith, worn as delicate pendants around necks, tucked into pockets as miniature tokens, or depicted in popular media, such as horror films where crosses dramatically fall from walls in scenes of demonic possession. The spread of Christianity across continents and cultures has turned the cross, an instrument of excruciating torment, into a household symbol recognized worldwide. Yet, crucifixion's history is far more intricate and sobering than its religious significance alone, particularly as the means of Christ's agonizing death. In this detailed account, we will delve into the origins, purpose, and chilling mechanics of this punishment. The very word excruciating, which we commonly use to describe unbearable pain, finds its roots in the Latin terms crux. This etymology underscores the sheer intensity of suffering crucifixion was designed to inflict. Unlike swift executions, crucifixion was deliberately slow and methodical, engineered to prolong the victim's torment. It was often carried out in highly visible public spaces where passers-by could witness the writhing agony of the condemned. The spectacle served a grim purpose, to act as a stark deterrent, compelling onlookers to reconsider any thoughts of criminal behavior after observing the victim's prolonged and torturous ordeal. This wasn't always the cross you imagine, with its iconic shape etched into history. Sometimes it was a single, merciless spike driven through a victim, impalement masquerading as crucifixion. But impalement was a swift killer, organs pierced and blood spilling fast, unlike the slow, deliberate agony of true crucifixion. In other grim variations, ropes bound the condemned to a pole or frame, leaving them to wither under the sun for days, their bodies succumbing to exhaustion or starvation. These were cousins to crucifixion, lacking the signature cross that defined its terror. Long before Jesus of Nazareth's shadow fell upon a cross, this punishment scarred the ancient world. As early as 400 BC, Persian executioners hoisted rondos onto wooden frames, their screams echoing across empires. The Assyrians and Babylonians, perhaps even earlier, raised their victims on crosses, perfecting the art of public torment. The Greeks, however, shunned such savagery, favoring poison's quiet embrace, though the historian Herodotus whispered of a Persian general nailed to a plank and hung up by vengeful hands. It was Alexander the Great who carried this gruesome practice westward, crucifying thousands of his foes, seeding the method across continents. The Romans, ever the innovators of death, refined crucifixion into a chilling craft. They spared their own citizens, reserving this fate for foreigners, Christian outcasts, disgraced slaves, or shamed soldiers. Imagine the scene: you're stretched across a rough-hewn cross, wrists lashed tight, then pierced by iron nails. The pain is searing, nerves severed, leaving your hands numb yet throbbing. Your feet, nailed to the beam's base, are positioned with knees bent, allowing a cruel flicker of relief. You can push up, easing the strain on your chest, gasping for air. But Roman soldiers, impatient or sadistic, might shatter your legs, robbing you of that fragile support. Your body sags, arms wrenching from their sockets, chest expanding until breathing becomes a desperate struggle. Asphyxiation creeps in, your own weight choking you, or your heart buckles under the strain, failing before your lungs surrender. Some crosses offered a footrest, a cruel mercy that prolonged the ordeal, stretching death across days. Others died faster, within hours, felled by prior beatings or the inability to breathe, their battered bodies giving out. The Romans didn't hide this horror, they flaunted it. Crucifixion sites were public stages, guarded by soldiers who might hasten death with a spear through the heart if the victim lingered too long. Cicero, the Roman philosopher, recoiled at its cruelty, calling it a most cruel and disgusting punishment. Yet the masses reveled in the spectacle. After Spartacus's slave revolt, thousands of his followers were crucified, their crosses lining roads as a grim warning. Though Spartacus himself fell in battle, spared the cross's embrace. Evidence of this brutality endures in Roman records and the words of horrified historians. Archaeologists unearthed a single skeleton from the 1st century, a man whose legs were pinned by one nail, hands bound, likely suffocated in agony. Debate swirls over whether victims carried their crosses, full structures weighing 300 pounds, a near impossible feat over long distances. More likely, they bore the crossbeam alone, a still crushing 100 pounds, dragging it barefoot to their doom. Crucifixion wasn't just death, it was a theater of suffering, its legacy carved into bones, words, and the haunting shape of a cross.